Punch it, CJ! uh, uh, uh. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hobbies with Jose. So today we do have part 3 of our Bandai Millennium Falcon build. Now I did go ahead and add about one more coat to the light gray panels, and I may still go back and add another coat or two, but I'll worry about that off camera. What we're going to work on today is inside the canopy. So as promised, we're going to start painting in the interior of the cockpit canopy section. And one thing I didn't realize is that this piece here that goes on top also has the top part of the cockpit molded in, so I'm going to be sure to paint that as well. Now I do have a number of paints that we're going to be using today to help us out with the cockpit. In the back wall and also on the sides, there's a strip of light emanating, and what I'm going to be using for that is going to be Tamiya's X2 white, which is the glossy white. It's not going to be actually lit up, but hopefully it'll catch some of the light that I'm going to have just behind the door, help that reflect a little bit. And as far as for the walls and the floor themselves, they're a really dark color, almost a black, but instead of going that dark, I'm going to use Tamiya's XF69 NATO Black. And around the door, it has some panels that are almost like an off-white color. So for that, I'm going to be using Tamiya's Deck Tan XF55. Has almost like a bone color to it. I think that should work pretty good. And lastly, for the seats themselves, I'm going to go with a very light brown color. Tamiya's XF72 brown. It has some letters after it, JGSDF. Not sure what they stand for, but the color seems to be a good match for the seats. Once I get these base colors in, I'm going to start working on adding all of the little details onto the walls with some other colors like reds and blues and whites on there. So should be fun. Let's go ahead and get started. The gloss white isn't going to be too noticeable right now as it's going on white primer, but I'll give it about 2 coats just to make sure it's nice and reflective on there. Don't think it'll catch on camera too well. And it's still wet right now too. Do it. I think I'm gonna paint in the edge of the door next. I'm going to give this maybe 1 or 2 more coats before we move on to the NATO Black on the walls. That's definitely going to need a few more coats. Alright, I'm going to add a few more layers of the brown and even more of the black. Get that color on there a bit more solidly. And then we'll get some details for the lights on the backs and on the ceiling as well. What we're going to be working on next though is making some modifications to the kit so that we can use this third-party lighting kit that I purchased. It's made by a company called SEC Models, and it does say made in the USA, but I don't think they have any kind of a website that you can visit. They just have listings on eBay, but they've gotten pretty good reviews, so I decided to check it out. And it does have some pretty clear instructions on what needs to be done to the body so that we can use our third-party kit. So let's go ahead and work on this for a bit. One of the first things that the lighting kit has us do is opening up this hole in the bottom where the battery compartment would go. We need a bit more room to accommodate the third-party kit, so I'm going to open up these corners here and also on the sides. And we definitely need the extra space on this side. I need more room up on this side here. Make sure I've got room to open it up on the other side. I'm going to have to cut away into this section here. Alright, I've got a big enough opening now where it fits through fine, no problem. I'm just going to go ahead and sand down the edges. Even though you're not going to see any of this really, I'm going to try to even things out as much as I can. Alright, so I think I've got that as straight as I'm going to get. It looks pretty decent, not too bad. That should do just fine. Let's see what else we've got to do here. And next we're actually going to drill out the little holes in the front of the Falcon for the headlights here. And that's going to be on these two small pieces here. You can already see where the headlights are molded into the plastic. We're going to go ahead and drill them out. I did go ahead and just take one off. The screw was already kind of hanging off the side there. But it's got some extra plastic here on the back, so I'm going to have to make sure that I drill all the way through. Alright, one down, one to go. So far so good. Now the way the cockpit is going to get lit up is we're going to sand down a little bit of a notch on this top corner here, and one of the smaller LEDs is going to go right up in on top like that. I'm going to just carve out just a little bit of a section right on top here. I'm thinking that should be big enough. And it's also small enough to hopefully not be too noticeable. Alright, I'm going to keep working on those modifications off camera, but that's where I'm going to end it for today. On the next episode, we're going to finish up detailing in the cockpit, getting all of the painted lights on the walls and ceiling, and we're going to start painting in all of our pilots here as well. I think I figured out which one is Solo and which one is Finn, so we'll get started on those. And there's also one extra character that I didn't realize was included, and that is of course little BB-8 that was hiding here, kind of in plain sight underneath everybody else, but hope you can all join me for that. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.